rob you. Their hands, their arms. I said, well, you don't have to do that, Tony. You know, I was in the gasoline business for a long time, 8 years as a matter of fact. Defrauded the government out of tax on every gallon of gasoline. Big operation. The Russians were involved with me. We were bringing into our operation several $1 million a week. Starts to kind of travel throughout all the 5 families in New York and really all over the country. Well, Fat Tony Salerno, boss of the Genovese family, guy I knew pretty well, met him several times. He sends for me one day, and I was a capo in the Colombo family, but when a boss from another family sends for you, you go. He had a club in Harlem, a social club. He was about 5'6", 5'7", short guy, a little bit, chubby, I would say. Smoked a cigar, always wore a fedora, right out of Central Casting. Talked like a real tough guy, but a really good guy. So I go see him in Harlem, and he looks at me that day. We're sitting in front of his club, and he says to me, "Hey, Mike, how you doing?" I said, "I'm doing good, Tony." He says, "I hear you're making a lot of money in this gas business. Is that true?" I said, "Tony, I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain." He says, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "I got a favor to ask you." I said, "Tony, anything you want that I can do, you got it." He said, "I got these 5 mamalukes around me. They can't earn 5 cents. He says, "You do me a favor, you give them a job for me?" I said, "Sure, Tony, no problem." He said, "Well, what will they do?" I said, "Well, I have a bunch of gas stations. Maybe I'll put them in charge of a gas station. They'll operate it and they'll run it for me. I'll tell them what to do, how to operate for me." I said, "But Tony, please, these guys sometimes." I said, "Don't let them rob me. You know how these guys are." He said, "Rob you? Their hands, their arms." I said, "Well, you don't have to do that, Tony." I said, "But just, keep them in line." He said, "Don't worry about it." So he says to me, "How much are they going to earn?" So now I'm thinking about it, Tony, the boss, I don't want to insult him. I want to make sure I say the right thing. I said, "Tony, how about I give him $1,500 in cash a week? Will that make you happy? That satisfy you?" He looks at me, he goes, "$1,500? The cigar almost fell out of his mouth. He says, "Give them $500, give me the $1,000. I said, "Hey, Tony, anything that you want. You're the boss."